Because you silenced it, so I silenced my bless you also. How are you coping?
I think yesterday helps.
Mm.
Meeting the boys, mastermind, get to see like a side of people that, because they are like, when people meet just for self-improvement stuff, like as a primary thing, just meeting people, it becomes like the energy is contagious.
Mm.
Yeah.
It is more rare to have actual connection, like events, because now our day-to-day is more on our own or like at work with people that higher ups, co-workers, not really as equals. There's not a lot of like opportunity in that sense.
And also like meeting people that you can click with, you can vibe with, socializing in person. I think there's something magical about it.
Mm.
Like, I still feel tired afterwards, but during the process, it feels cool. Like just walking in a group, talking about stuff, like seeing everyone just like grouping up, exchanging like information. Socializing in person is very different. You can see their facial expression. Like you feel a bit awkward, they feel a bit awkward at first. Then you see that slowly disarming, physical touch slowly getting, okay, it sounds a bit
Homosexual.
yeah. But I feel like I'm able to vibe a bit more when I don't go into it with my age in mind.
Mm.
More open-minded. And it also helps that generally people that are interested in improving themselves are more mature.
Mm.
Of course, they're like still like joking around and stuff lah. And there's still people that like fool around a bit too much. But I think okay like it's just the dynamic of the changes the energy.
Yeah. You do have to have the balance of like comedy, humor, lighthearted, like building connection, and then there is the using that connection, that foundation, and then penetrating to the deep
Dictator,
stuff.
become the dictator.
The Dictator. Hey, that movie was super good though. Like
The comedy.
it was the who's the guy? Gore something Matt. Wait, no.
Adam Sandler.
No. Wait.
Isn't Adam Sandler in the
Was he inside?
no, it's not him. I did watch quite
Yeah,
recently.
the guy
like
Aladdin.
a month ago. Yeah.
Sacha Baron Cohen. Such a good movie.
Yeah. But dictate the flow of the conversation and the objective, I guess.
It is tough to steer a conversation. You have to there will always be tensions and other thoughts that go off in our mind. But to have a good conversation, you need to constantly keep steering it back to the main topic, the through line of talk or speech.
But I know everyone does that. But now that we are like trying to explain out what people have been doing in conversation sounds a bit sounds geeky. It's like trying to break down
Trying to be
what
meta,
goes in.
like,
Yeah.
fourth wall break.
Some people enjoy the geekiness of it. I think personally sometimes when I'm in that zone, geek out on literally social interactions, like a natural human thing becomes like a robotic step-by-step process. But sometimes you need that for some people. Because for me, I also learn a lot of my like social interactions not through natural pickup. Of course, a lot is through natural, like growing up, surrounding yourself with like people, which is like what humans do.
What humans?
Yeah, especially if you got a lot of females around you, you will pick up a lot of like social cues.
How so though?
The drama queens. You will get more feedback. They give you more. You can talk to a guy and they can literally don't show any emotion physically, but they feel those emotions.
So they're less expressive.
Less expressive. And you need like the progressive overload. Start with like someone with a lot of expression so that you get the feedback first. You know what works, what doesn't. Slowly, even this is damn geeky as I'm saying it. Slowly
perfectly fine.
progressive to someone that is like more less expressive. So you still kind of get a bit of more cues, but less obvious ones. Yeah. I think social skills, like socializing in general, is one of like a human trait that everyone should really pay attention. And recently I've listened to, I listened halfway to Diary of a CEO with Simon Sinek on talking about like socializing. And apparently one of the new muscle group that they found out that affects longevity is actually not just your heart, not just your lungs, not just your brain, but your thighs.
Your thighs.
You know why?
Why?
Because thighs signals how healthy you are, how much you can, your mobility, your ability to move around to socialize with people. And that actually translate to how long you live. Because when you're able to move around, walk, and go talk to your friend, have activities, do this, do that, thigh actually plays an important role in how long you're gonna live.
So thick thighs don't just save lives; they also also save your social life.
Yeah. And I guess now for all the guys, like it's justifiable to like girls with thunder thighs.
Conclusion of the story.
Yeah.
Thighs.
I find that very interesting. Like you go look at those blue zones, even SG is a blue zone now. Generally, people move around a lot. Like even unhealthy fat people, they can walk. Because we are forced to walk.
Yeah, public transport.
Yeah, so like generally, we are healthier than like those countries that drive around. Even Malaysia, just look at Malaysia. Okay, provided Malaysia, a lot of the cuisines is more unhealthy. They put more oil, it's more flavorful in that sense. More seasonings, more salt, more sodium, more seed oil. But the main thing is actually in Malaysia, everyone owns a car. Then you realize that a lot of them are a lot more unhealthier. They are more like healthy people in Singapore if you just walk out on the street. Yeah.
The thing is that with health as a whole, it's always a spectrum. So there are other people who are healthy. So we just want to maximize this as much as possible. If there is a sort of, what do you call this, distribution basically. You want less of the sort of overweight people and less of the anorexic, underweight people. Now, access to food as a whole, this part is being skewed. So it's more like the hub is like this. So there are more people who are overweight in a sense. But Singapore is, I think we only expose ourselves to more, since we are in the self-improvement space, more fit people. But there are a lot of people, and they're more, because their lifestyle tends to be more stay at home, that kind, less active. You will not even see them out in the open.
And one of the scientific findings is that people that tend to binge eat, some of them, they have the tendency because of some mental health or physical genetic condition. But people usually do it less when they are when they're in a social mood. And people that feel lonely tends to do that more, tends to feed into their addictions more. So I realized back then during COVID, when I'm alone at home, of course I'm in Discord talking to people, playing games, but still feel lonely because I know something will go wrong. I'm not sharing my shame, my vulnerabilities with my gamer friends. I'm just not doing that. So they are not really true friends. Like if you really
superficial only, not
superficial. We are bonded over gaming, and without gaming, we are not friends. So if without gaming we are not friends, then we are not really friends.
Yeah.
So because of that, we kind of know it deep down and feel lonely. And back then, I just watch sitcoms to feel like you're part of that family. because they do engineer it so that you feel like you're part of it. Like they care about you, the characters. They're like, you are included. So you feel a bit less lonely, but afterwards you reality will catch up again. Then continue feed into the addictions, eat my feelings. Like some people, when they feel lonely or whatever, they feel bad. They don't eat. They become those the skinny type. And for me, I'm the type that will binge like mad. So like now I look back, loneliness was one of the reasons why I don't feel like I had a social group that I can rely on.
The thing is that with COVID as a whole, we were all forced to stay at home and were only able to interact with the people around us like family. And some of us who perhaps didn't have as good of relationships with our family were forced to just interact with our friends online or work online, work from home. The lockdown in 2019.
And also like you realize your Zoom group mates. How many of your Zoom group mates back in COVID you're hanging out with now? For me, none. All of them are we just do project for the sake of doing project. We don't really hang out, don't really talk, don't really call. Only those that we met in person, there's the connection there. I realized even though some like in person one, those group mates that you just hang out with a bit. I realize even though now we don't hang out with them, but if you recall, it's more memorable because there's the social aspect. There are like stories, emotions. And through Zoom, it's just everyone is just their own world.
You have to admit that online communication versus in person, there is such a big difference.
Yep.
And I don't know, like now we have the ability, we have the access, we have the option to go online for many things, but why are we all deviating towards in real life sort of meetups, that sort of thing? Because we still want that connection.
And recently, I think Dalio, CEO, like in the Simon Sinek episode, he says that he makes it a thing for his podcast to not have any Zoom podcast. Like he want to make sure every single guest is recorded in a way that is a conversation in person, because he feels that is like the only way to feel authentic. So like, I guess we had plans, we had discussion about like after because I'm going overseas and you're going to go army, are we going to continue? Are we going to do like a Zoom style afterwards, like a continuation or a different series or whatever?
Or Wiz Khalifa, see you again, starts playing and then we just diverge.
Yeah, I guess probably not. Maybe we can find a way to make it interesting, but not going to be like a weekly thing anymore. Like, we're not going to make a weekly Zoom podcast. Because I feel like that would be a waste of everyone's time.
We want the whole idea with our podcast as a whole being in person, having a set, and even the connection where we make eye contact into camera, that's the sort of humanness, that feeling that we want to convey to you, the audience, and even have in person. So a conversation where we actually speak in person in the room and are able to focus on in the moment and have the same sort of environment, stimuli.
That's why like at the start of the podcast we talked about the meetup yesterday. Like for most of you probably don't know what we're talking about, but like we had a mastermind group from like we find like-minded people through connections, through friends, through online communities, through Hamza's Adonis Skool, all this. Then we have a group chat. So we chat a bit in the group, but realize that it's mandatory for a physical meetup. Because without that real life interaction, you don't really build that connection, and without the connection, it's very low leverage to be chatting with. It's basically strangers.
You just see names on a screen or aliases even.
Like you can tell them your life story through text, through a long paragraph, but nothing is really being conveyed. People don't see how you feel, what pain you went through without you talking in person. And usually you realize in person, you can't force trying to feel sad about like you can't force vulnerability also. You
can't
need to feel
fake
right.
it. You can't fake anything.
Yeah, you can't.
In real time.
Like yesterday, we met a lot of people for the first time. I didn't mention once that I was 143 kg. Okay, I did mention to one person that I already kind of know, but because it's just not right to. It didn't have the energy. They weren't vulnerable. You haven't find like the way in yet. So it's like if you suddenly start telling your life story, your rock bottom, it's gonna feel them out of place.
It has to do with the feedback, like you mentioned earlier. There is really no feedback on a text messaging app or any form of social media going back and forth. You can literally be talking at the same time, typing out your thoughts, having your thoughts translated onto the through the keyboard onto the text bubble thing, and you will not be listening to what the other person is trying to convey. That's why our communication regarding the podcast as a whole, with business and everything, we realized we got into a lot of communication issues because we were just talking at the same time, not listening to the other person.
Yeah. So I think for regarding just the podcast, communicating with like partners, with co-workers next time, I want to personally send less text to people. Pick up the phone, call people. I think that is a lot better. Like if you don't have the opportunity because of like time, location, all this constraint, like there's limitations with our time, and we cannot be meeting each other every day because we got our own things. So like picking up the phone is a lot better because you allow yourself to pause, to give each other time to think. You get the auditory feedback. We don't have the facial cues or whatever, or the expression, the emotions through our eyes, but at least we get to hear.
Yeah. Personally, I identified as someone who really like never picked up the phone. I will only, at most, Discord call or text message. I will not pick up your call at all. Like if you were my family at all, like I would just always decline. My instinct, because I identified that who talks on their phone? Like that is a thing even nowadays. There's more resistance in that, but it is maybe precisely because there's more resistance. So you need to make an effort to go out of your way to pause from everything else and give someone your full attention and speak to them. Use your voice, not just your thought, and let it like translate directly.
You're unfamiliar with the why or picking up a phone can be a lot better. Because like you can text when you're in like a public bus, crowded public bus, but you probably won't pick up a phone when you're in a crowded public bus for a reason. First, it's less. You will filter less, so in a way there's less resistance for you to send those messages. And when there's less resistance, people can also feel that like you're not putting in as much attention, or like why are you, like sometimes I do feel that when you send too long of a message, although with good intention, but I'm like, now I have to break down this whole chunk of passage to even find out what is the reason why you're even sending that. And that takes a lot of mental bandwidth, and sometimes I'm just not in the state to receive that. And if it's a call, you don't need to guess, because you
can hear, or
humans
you can
we can detect the context or the intention without trying to decipher that. Because deciphering through text, although I don't know if it's a universal thing, but for me, I'm really bad at it. Or like it takes a lot of work.
There's a lot more room to misinterpret and everything.
Yeah.
Because like it or not, communication is a two-way thing, not just a one-way thing. And a lot of its context is dependent. Whether you have the option to even call someone, if like in the crowded bus, you cannot, then it's understandable to just shoot a text.
Yep.
But it is when you have that option, you have infinite options now. You have the ability to access anyone you know at any point in time. So you must exercise that choice carefully and wisely. And if possible, get real connection. Yes. Connect to the, not internet, but the people around you.
Mm.
Yes.
That's why someone told me yesterday that their main goal, because we kind of share our goals. Some of us talk about like, oh, we want to go on the podcast, our own YouTube channel, we want to start monetizing. Then one person just told me that I want to socialize. And that kind of opened up my mind. Like, it's actually not a bad idea because of how important socializing is, to make socializing your main layer of purpose, your main goal right now. Because you realize that if you build connections, build systems with people, like, because you can make friends, but things will fizzle out if you don't maintain it. The law of, what's that universal law again?
Entropy.
Entropy, yeah. Like, if you don't put in effort into maintaining a system, it will deteriorate.
Yeah. Everything will shift towards chaos. If you don't not make conscious effort to, for example, clean your room, then it will just over time progressively get more chaotic all over the place.
But you can put system in place to at least increase the longevity of the state that you want it to be in a sense. Like, if you want to be in a state whereby you have a support group that you can ask for feedback, get accountability, so you create a group and find out a shared interest. You create a system whereby you guys somehow look like you naturally will get together and like share all these things.
It doesn't have to be, let's say, weekly. The way of the Supermans talks about meeting masculine friends and giving each other challenges, listening to each other's problems, that sort of thing, weekly. But as long as you can do that over text if you cannot meet up in person. So for networking, you want to do it maybe semi-consistently. So you just need to set a sort of, whether it's monthly or quarterly, like we have now quarterly masterminds, so that you are more inclined to just, oh, okay, there's this event happening, can say yes or no, RSVP. Then you just go, and the opportunities will just, you have access to the opportunities there and to meet and connect with people. So you make it easier for yourself. You don't have to decide every time, oh, should we go? I want to go to here. Like, can we go here? Like, then everyone is suggesting different things. But if you have just like a sort of fixed event that we know, oh, okay, we are all just gonna come together, it sort of makes it easier. There's no room for everything outside of that. We can take initiative and sort of organize ourselves, but we know that there's a core meeting.
There's a structure, there's the expectations is there. Like, it's not very high, but at least we just want to get together.
It's the bare minimum.
That is the system that will get the ball rolling, because if you want to improve it or whatever, that comes second. The first thing is just getting the first step done. Instead of just talking about we should socialize, I want to socialize more, I want to meet more friends. Instead of just saying that, thinking about it, planning it, just do something. And there's something usually is just like joining a group. That is already putting in the system to make sure things just don't go chaos again. Your direction don't just start missing again. Then for a messy room, the law of entropy dictates that if you don't put in effort, conscious effort, things will go messy again after you like clean it up. So what do? Maybe get a bookshelf that looks good. That could be the system in place that you want to make sure the system, or make it, let's say like you want to video journal yourself every single day. Then you want the background to be consistent. That could be a system by itself to make sure that for me, my background is my wardrobe. So make sure that part of the wardrobe looks clean, looks organized. So that I will still have to put in the effort, but I don't need to put in the effort to set the intention to want to do the thing. I already have something to set that direction for me.
To anchor that, so that it will just push you towards the direction that you want to go.
Yeah. In some sense, that is literally what goal setting is. Like, I set the goal that I'm gonna have quarterly masterminds this year. Then it becomes like, as a result, yesterday happened because I set the intention to follow through with that vision that I'm gonna do this. Yeah.
Like, the whole idea of accountability is, you want to have people around you who are able to, like it or not, we all have blind spots. You do not see everything clearly. So if you have, for example, a bit of food stuck in your teeth, or there's a For me, it was literally eyelash I had on my cheek yesterday. You want people who are able to look at you and point it out and be like, oh, bro, your face 很丑. Anyway, you want people who are able to point out your blind spots so that you can even be aware of them. There are things that are invisible to you, but visible to everyone else. That's why there's always utility in seeing things from other people's perspectives. And accountability, you want people who are able to point that out to you and hold you accountable based on what you sort of tell them or what your standards for yourself and the people around you.
And to do that, I think one of the easiest way to procure the environment of having people that can be frank with you is to be vulnerable. Like once you are vulnerable, you tell people that you want to get better and whatever. You tell them, oh, I am going through this and this and this. On the surface, I might look like I am having my shit together, but I still need your input when you see something that you feel you need to tell me. Like don't filter yourself. Yeah, when you say that, then you get the benefit of having this core group of people that can really, like, we keep talking about accountability, but really to keep you accountable, to keep you on track. And that is something that can really make sure you don't lose your way doing the things. A lot of people will just set New Year resolution or whatever, then nothing is done because like you don't have accountability.
You're trying to keep yourself accountable, but you're missing all the other bits of information, feedback from other people.
And getting feedback from other people is a sort of like bonding. And a lot of people, they try to keep themselves accountable, so they go monk mode, ghost mode, whatever. And they miss out on a lot of what social interactions gives them also. Like, it might take a bit to set up the feedback loop or whatever, having people, but it sounds harder than just keeping yourself accountable for everything. But in the long run, if you really care about, you think about your future you, what would that version be? You probably want to have long-term people around you. You want to surround yourself with like people on the same journey that are respectable. They are on their own track and they help you when you need. Or like if you ask them to keep you accountable, they actually do it. Like that's like their form of gift to you. You want to have those people around you. So
it's playing long-term games with long-term people. So for example, you want to make sure that the games you're playing, infinite games, hopefully, business, health, marriage. So with all those games, there is a journey in a sense. So there is this mountain that you have to climb, and some people decide to do it alone, which will be obviously more difficult. You don't have people to catch you if you fall, or if you stumble, if you slide down. And you don't have people to also help to scout the area, look for different alternatives, and then you can discuss and from there choose the best possible path forward.
Or they only get those people for that particular reason, then it just gone.
Or getting people who are yes men, who just sort of only see things from your perspective, agree with everything you say. In a sense, that may not be the best also because you want other perspectives.
I heard recently from someone that he has like different sort of people. Like there are the group of people he just hang out with just for fun, like brain dead, degenerate fun. Then there are another group of people or self-improvement, career, level up. Then there's a group of people that it's kind of like a mutual using. It's like you both are freelancers to one another, exchanging value. But other than that, it's not just like work and improvement. It's just literally just work. Like literally just like, it's not even considered friends really. It's just considered like work buddies. Like for a work scenario or for something, like you have to do a certain task. He has the value in terms of that task and you are providing value in something else that he wants. It's like a very transactional relationship. So there are different ways of having friends or whatever, but if you really want to maximize, I guess, like the benefits of having better health, feeling less lonely, you really need to have a group of people that will be here in every step of the journey. If that makes sense.
It is beyond us, so surface level connection or transaction even. is getting to the deeper connection.
Yep.
So you may only have I tried to articulate this concept before, the pillars of a relationship connection in the past. But basically, you have interest in your life, like perhaps business or relationships. So what you're basically interested in. And when you meet someone, you have a friend, you basically, as you learn about someone, you find out their own unique, authentic sort of interests. And if they align together, then you're able to connect more based on those pillars, because you know what you're interested in. And if you're interested in the same thing, then you have more to talk about. You have so many branches of possibilities. You can work together on this, work together on that. That's why a true, whether you want to measure a friend, it's not really binary. That's why friendship isn't binary.
He's trying to explain vibing, basically.
Yeah, you just vibe with each other, but you
Just
don't know why.
vibing basically is having more pillars, and either you already have the pillars built that connects both of you, the bridges, or you are currently, there's enough for you to realize that there are a lot more bridges to be built between you. The potential of that friendship also. That also plays into the vibing thing. I realized that someone that, it's like using social media, using internet to connect people that's like-minded, then go and meet in person, which is what we did. That to me is kind of like the playbook for now, like for effective social circle building, I guess. That makes sense.
That is what Hamza talked about also.
Yeah.
And the things that we literally met from Adonis gang, his now free community, but we paid like $5 for it.
Yeah. Thanks, Hamza. And if you're in Singapore, come be our guest.
I think this will be put out too late.
Too late. Yeah, right.
But okay, wait.
We'll try to reach him out. So
On Hamza as a whole, right? Monk mode. So as a whole, okay, everyone lies on the spectrum between introvert and extrovert. So I think you lean more towards extrovert, right?
I try to.
Try to.
I'm not sure because it changes. I was like introverted last time, but I don't know whether it's because I'm more insecure, more shy. I couldn't be myself. But I guess lean towards more extroversion nowadays. And even when I was younger, actually I can connect with people more. And I enjoy it. Yeah, since last time.
Yeah, I guess it is. You want to sort of do the test. It's either you can take it at many different times, but we have a journey, right? So we're always we may lose ourselves at some point and find ourselves back, like our authentic selves, and then reincorporate things. So you'll continuously develop. But you can see your natural tendency, right?
With zero fear of how people look at me, or if I'm comfortable in my own skin, I'm naturally extroverted. Like even when I was like 6-7 years old, whenever my family friend come around my age, we click instantly, we can talk, we can have fun. So I think I'm naturally extroverted. Yeah. I like working with people, so I like to say I'm extroverted. So
I think you are compared to me also. But yeah, comparing to me, I am more 50-50 on the dot.
Okay. But it doesn't really affect social interactions. It's more like
it will though if you're more
it won't
affect
extremes, the potential of having a social circle, or it will affect how it's set up.
The settings that work for you as to even be able to connect to that. Yeah.
You have to lean into your I guess your archetype. If you are more shy, but you can always have the more calm energy that invites people to talk about themselves, those type of energy. It works very well also.
There is this concept of the levels of health, even within the, let's say, 16 personality types. There are healthy versions of that, then there are unhealthy versions of that. With Enneagram types also, there's a whole step-by-step at their best, then at their worst. And I used to identify as like a type 4 or something. And then I noticed I thought I was at in my delusion, this was before I even started learning anything, when I was super young, I thought that I was like a level 1 or 2, like healthy. But in the end, I was being deluded apparently, because I'm apparently a type 8 or something. And right now, as I am now, I am in the healthy range for 8. Yeah, type 8.
for me, I never go that deep. But I did have like a flow of like growth, like character growing arc, like training arc like that. It was from identifying too much with. Back then, I was a bit more obsessed with what do you call it? The horoscope kind of thing, like what kind of person? Yeah, maybe not to those type of stereotype that much, but I'll check, I'll obsess a bit over it, but I won't like say it out. I won't project it outwards, but I will make a lot of decisions. A lot of like I get a lot of my self-affirmation, esteem from what kind of person I am according to all these websites.
I also went into it quite a bit.
Yeah, I transitioned that to leaning into personality when that become the pop psychology thing to go after to read. That become my thing. Like, I used to be a debater, and that is an introverted personality.
Isn't it ENTP?
Oh wait, no. Or before that, before debater was another one. I think campaign. Is it
campaigner? That's also
is it
ENFP.
Okay, then before that another one. I forgot which one is it.
We haven't shown us if anything.
But these two I was also changed to ENTP and the campaigner over the years. But before that, when I was an introverted one, I was in an IT course in poly, and somehow I think I forced myself to be more introverted because that is like the vibe generally of like people are more
social creatures, community, tribal creatures really will emulate whatever you are, a product of your environment. Maybe yes.
So the way I use it is because my environment is full of more introverted people, more shy people. I try to find evidence for me to be that person, that I will lean into that. I'll like read up on what kind of personality, what kind of things, what kind of decisions, what kind of frames this kind of people will have, this personality type will have. Yeah, then now I'm more towards the normal. I think to me this is the most healthier version. I can use all these things to my advantage to look for the good things. Like even horoscope, like if they say this horoscope is more, you can succeed easier or whatever, like something good, use it. But you need to still realize the opposite is that life is still complex. Whatever personality, in reality,
it is just a one-sided like facet in a sense.
Same thing as all the pop psychology. It just gives you a bit of structure for you to urge you to take certain action because it gives you a bit more clarity. But in reality, what love languages, what acts of service, all this, then there are attachment styles. In reality, things are a lot more complex than it is. Human individuals.
And even over time, it will just keep changing.
Especially with environment and how the world is. Like you live in the world with other people around. So you will change. People around you will change. And everything is changing.
Constantly.
You cannot say that you are this type and just make that a fact and like stick to that. Because that is not reality.
Attach yourself to the identity.
Yes.
I mean, as a whole, everyone's feeling lost. Everyone's feeling purposeless. And that's why we cling on to any form of, like the first sign of, I'm an INTP for me. Then I'm like, okay, I'm an INTP. Then you go read up on everything. It's like trying to like put a name, a label onto you as a person, but you cannot really lock yourself down, become rigid like ice, like you must be like water and like flow.
It's like in psychology, the id and the ego. You're like feeding on the ego to feel important, to feel that you are not just a
feel that
creature.
You belong to a tribe.
Yeah.
And it is understandable.
You have an identity.
It's just, over time you will realize that you do not want to box yourself in too hard. I mean, as an INTP, I brought this up randomly, but I legit, because it did fascinate me a lot, like going into personality, it is like psychometric assessments. So I did a bunch of them. Then INTP was what I came out to and what I identified with most also. Because you get the test results, you still have to sort of analyze it. The results are for you to analyze in a sense. And then I also got a bunch of friends to do it. And I found that a lot of people in my sort of friend group are actually also like me, like INTPs. They also did a test before and found out that they are INTPs. So whether it is a byproduct of the education system, forcing us towards that route, maybe, or our upbringing, or just through contact with each other. Not sure, but interesting, definitely.
So it's interesting, although it's not like the determining factor. Like we just say, like the way I look at it now is more like I will use it. Like if I realize that the people around me is like you say about INTP, right? You will realize that. Then first, with that consciousness of the personality type around you, you will realize that, or maybe you have been in your comfort zone. You have to extend, like we are different, but maybe to you, having the same personality type is how you vibe. One of the pillars. You guys have the matching energy. Maybe you can start to realize that, oh, if you want to do this, you naturally will need to be able to interact with people from that are like, you probably cannot vibe on personality type, on like the way they speak or
I mean, it's just
what you talk about.
relationships as a whole, because there are also articles on how different types interact with each other. Tests as a whole, there are different there are better tests than others. I'll link one that I think is supposedly better. But yeah, my third sort of trait, so there are like levels in terms of like which like may apply to you, because some tests they say they're just this like one type only, the 16 personalities type, which is not the best. There are better ones that sort of show you like where you lie on a scale for most things. For me, I'm like a 50-50, then like 65, 55, all that sort of like I'm very close to the middle for all. And I'm INTP first, then my third function is like I think ENFP, which you are. And for you, his third function, ENFP, then your third function is INTP. So actually, in a sense, we sort of go together in a sense. That's why we are even partners, right? I think.
But he knows more about my personality test results than I do, because personally I pay less attention to all this. To me, I like to identify as like more of like a chameleon in that sense. Like if I want to, I can spend a bit more energy to be someone that I'm not in the interaction, so that it sounds like I'm acting, but it's just to make the experience more enjoyable for both. Then slowly I become more comfortable with being myself. I guess a lot of people does it. Just
even
put out front first.
It's social situations, you always need personas to sort of put on personas to protect you in a sense, because you don't know how dangerous someone is. Going back to like tribal ish, like, first interaction, are you safe? Are you dangerous?
Yeah, that's why nowadays it's very rare to meet someone that can be more unfiltered. In the first time you met them, they can already show who they truly are. It's a good skill to have, although like that you might turn somebody off, but there's more of the compatibility thing as well.
I mean, this is polarity as a whole. You will repel some people, you will attract some people.
But it takes balls to be able to just unfilter yourself, not have the fake you to, I guess, like cushion the interaction. To like if there's awkwardness, like the discomfort between the first time meeting, like you really cannot click with someone, it's hard to just sit with that also.
I mean, in a sense, it's good if you want to filter out, for example, going on dates and everything, you want to filter out people who are genuinely not compatible. So you just be yourself. That's why the best advice is literally be yourself.
Just be yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
The INTP as a whole, apparently it's called also the chameleon. Like some people, for me, I also just, because I am 50-50 also, so I just go as I wish. And when I was more unhealthy, there's this literal channel I found called the INTP Survival Guide.
Okay.
And because it is in my
very niche channel.
Yeah, in my personality type itself, yeah, we are the types who will like obsess, be interested in all these kind of theoretical things. So he created like guides and everything on how to survive, and a lot of them were like, social harmony is overrated. Don't be an open book. How to attract anyone using MBTI. So there are all these things you can. That's why having that results on your test, you can utilize it. Someone who just has it as I'm just this like INTP, and they do not have any beyond surface level, deeper sort of. You can go deep into a niche and learn a lot how to apply it to everything else.
So it's not what the thing is or how deep you go, it's how you use it. Like I think just now we were talking. I was talking about this point, like how to use MBTI, but like we kind of like went all over the place. But how I look at this is that I make it I create the consciousness of what MBTI or the people that surround me, how we interact with one another. That I will, if I only hang out with people that I am similar in terms of personality type, then I will go make a conscious effort to learn how to vibe with people on other similarity, other pillars. Like we want to do self-improvement, we want to work on podcasts, and we find a way to make this work. A lot of people don't step out of their comfort zone in that sense. Yeah.
We used the foundational pillars first of relationship building, connections, to even establish that connection. Then from there, I got him to do the test and figured out that he was an ENFP, that sort of thing. Then it's understanding the differences and the nuances in our relationship together. So we know what he may be better at doing, what I may be better or worse at doing also.
And what we enjoy doing naturally as well because of our upbringing, all this. Our personality is influenced by all the inputs we have throughout our lives.
Psychometric testing is even in Principles by Ray Dalio. He talks about using it in his business it's not 100% accurate, but you can use it to really, understand what someone may be better suited at doing, so they can find their point of highest contribution.
So use that to your advantage instead of like some people just obsess over it in a bad way. They're like, oh, I'm this type of person, so I'm not gonna do this, or I'm this type of person, so I'm not gonna try this new experience, or these people is this type of personality, so we confirm cannot click. Like going to it with that intention instead of finding out what else you guys can click on or what you can contribute to him and how you can bring the best out of him. I think that can work better. You don't have to be friends with everyone, but if you know roughly their personality type, you can use it for other reasons as well. Like if you guys are, I don't know, next time you go study or you go work with someone, a new client, business partner, or even just acquaintances that you might need to work together for a while, you picking out what their personality is and using it to your advantage so that it doesn't just benefit you but benefit both of you. Make it a win-win because using MBTIs, using personality types, I think that is a way.
It is in a sense using their nature or their default. So knowing their default or knowing your own default, so you know that what is separate from the norm. Because there will always be deviations from the norm, but if you know their general range by having the middle points of default, then you can expect what it is that they will do. So it's not all chaos, because if you don't know anything about the person, it's all chaos, all possibility, potential.
Yeah. And that separates like a mature person to an immature person. An immature person might or might not learn all these things, but how you use it is like separates what. I guess what I'm trying to say is like a mature person will use this to make it a pleasant experience for everyone.
Yeah. Social, what do you call it? The social defaults, not social defaults.
Norm.
Niceties. Yeah. Like having the social awareness also. These are things that it's hard to build up just from knowledge. You have to actually get
Go and feel.
Skin in the game. Yeah. Put your foot in, dip your toes into the water, and figure it out. And because you have to interact with people, most of the time it isn't like solving a problem isn't like what can I buy or like what can I, most of the time it is who can I reach out to, who can I find to solve.
And also like after you fail, most of the time you don't really need to dwell on it. Like you don't need to obsess over it. You just have to be present when you're in the interaction. If you fuck up, like allow yourself to fuck up. Then afterwards, if you have enough recovery, enough sleep, enough REM sleep, naturally you'll find a way to, I guess, improve. I know some people that try to make it too scientific. In the end, they know what to say, they know how to say it, but it comes across as disingenuous, a bit robotic. I've seen some, I think I read this book, The Game, is about the pickup artist scene by, I forget the author's name, but it says one of the person inside comes across very robotic. Although he knows what to say, how to pick up girls or whatever, but it seems like everything to him is like an experiment that he got all the data, analytics, then he comes out with the best answer. It's not human. Doesn't seem like
natural. It's formulaic.
Yeah. And people can sense that, even though they might still feel good from your response or whatever, but people can sense that. So really just be okay, like relax your muscles and be present. So if you fuck up, allow yourself to fuck up. And sometimes you can just tell people that, oh, I'm not that good in this. Like for me, one of the things that I fuck up a lot is handshakes or all the
Same.
dapping.
I never got good at learn how to do it properly.
Nowadays, I just, if I can, just shake their hand. Because that's easy. Everyone can just shake hands, just be firm in your handshake. But if they want to dab, I'll do it. And if it goes bad, I say, I'm very bad at this. And I just laugh about it. Because it's true, like, and I try not to tense up. Because last time I'll be like, in my head, like, oh shit, he's gonna dab. What am I gonna do? Then it messes up in my head. Yeah.
Fight or flight.
Yesterday in the MRT, I saw two person, like in the train station, two person in military uniform try to like part ways, and they basically did this like in a very awkward manner, like don't know what to do for like
yeah, it is
seconds,
going for a handshake or a hug or like a bump. Yeah.
I know of people like that, and that happened to me before, and sometimes I just like lean into that, make it like that is the joke.
I mean, it's our mess ups, our flaws, our vulnerability, our what makes us human. That is what connection is established through. It's our emotion, our feeling. For business people as a whole, for leaders, visionaries, you don't just sort of talk about, oh, I'm gonna do this, how like when trying to sell your idea or build a movement, build connection, lead people. You need to tap into the emotional. You need the balance of both. First of all, like getting their emotions, everything on board, build that connection, let them see your vision for the future, and then see if they're on board with that. Once they're on board, once you have the why, you can figure out the how. Like, if you have he who has any why can bear any how.
You figure out the who also.
And the who, yeah.
You can qualify people through this process of connecting first.
So starting with connection.
And one thing to really like drive home is that like with social interactions in general, we talk about this very extensively like this episode. So you need to allow yourself to, I guess, like some people, we kind of lean into the identity that we are masculine, we are strong. We come across as this person, then we don't want to fuck up. And that is a form of insecurity. To show that you have no vulnerabilities is a form of insecurity. And if we can address that, then, and be masculine about it, like you still have vulnerabilities, you still fuck up, and you're okay with saying it, and you're on the way of improving it. That itself is a more masculine thing to do. That's something that will give you the most satisfaction or most fulfillment, because through being vulnerable, you are able to, I guess, improve yourself more, because you accept who you are and you work on that, instead of like
you're able to admit your own fear, your own insecurity, your itch.
You're not playing a character. So whatever people's reaction to you, that's authentically you. And it takes a while to get to be authentic around everyone also.
In a sense, finding yourself, the way that you best interact with people, even learning all these things, it is a lifelong journey. But you want to, that's why make it consistent. Go for networking events. So you know your own default, and you want to, sometimes push yourself out of your default, out of your comfort zone as a whole. Lean into the discomfort. Lean just beyond your edge.
Just
lean
into the discomfort. That is something like, it becomes a bit wallpaper, because if you are in self-improvement space, people keep telling you go out of comfort zone, but it's really like the path to real growth. And
the thing is that at any point in time, it will keep changing. Your comforts, once you make something your default, habitual change, then what's comfortable to you now is different from what was comfortable for you then. And you have to that's why you have to constantly keep doing inner work, introspecting, journaling to figure that out.
Like for me, last time being vulnerable was hard. That was out of my comfort zone. Afterwards, it became easier with my core group of people, my friends. Then next thing, once it becomes comfortable, the next thing is actually using that to make real changes into my life, create systems. Yeah. And now the next step is for me to be able to share my vulnerabilities while still really working on it with people that I've met. They are like new people. I want to see whether they can be like long-term people in my life. And that takes a lot of effort, because I always have the innate feeling that I want to be respectable. I want to show off as I'm cool. I lost so much weight and I'm now this cool person in front of you. I'm a leader or whatever. But I have struggles. I have issues of my own. I have fears. But that won't stop me. I want to come across as that guy that have all these things, but I'm still going to try my best.
This is ideal that you start off as a child in sort of controlled, safe environments with your family, and you're a dependent child. So you depend on your parents this is just the whole maturity continuum from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So you are a dependent on your parents for caregiving, everything. Then after that, you venture out into the wider world, school, and then you start making friends from that and seeing how you interact with the world. But it's a very controlled world because you don't want to just put you out into the real world and have you experience everything. Then as you leave the nest, let's say, then your parents also have different sort of attachment. The attachment with you, whether they had good relationships with you as a whole, that will affect you, that will affect your parents. It's like some kids do not want to leave their home, or after school they'll rush back to their parents and be like, hug them, cry, everything. There is that detachment that will be painful, but in the long term, you have to sort of leave the nest. You cannot stay at home forever. You have to explore the wider world around you. For me, it's been slowly expanding that sphere of exposure, whether it is to the now larger world through the internet with access to everything. And journey.
And like it's a lot of opportunities for you to go out of your comfort zone. Like you see one group of people, they are like more really you cannot vibe with. They are more of the jocks, cool, naturally secure with themselves. Or like they could be not secure, then they have some issues, they bond via like bullying someone else, but you cannot click with them. But you might want to shy away or not work with them. But what I learned from one of my friends is that you can always be that person that be neutral and try to find the best in everyone. Of course, you don't need to be close with everyone, but like learn how to navigate through social interactions with people that you might not naturally feel that you can vibe with. It might take a lot more effort. Like somebody that annoys you, somebody that lacks social awareness, or somebody that is just too cool to be around you. Like they have like this persona or whatever. Like they can be an actor or model or something.
I mean,
there are different types of people.
With meeting, like that's the thing, like never meet your heroes or something. For my own experience, the only other sort of meetup I went to since I've been on this journey is the Capital Club Glitch meetup that was in Singapore. And at that point in time, I think first I was rationalizing in my head that I don't have a like actually good enough reason to go up and talk to him, whatever. I think that's what I told people also. But it was actually stemming from like fear, like seeing him like interact with other people, go around, handshake, like the way that he is in person, because all your heroes are actually just people. Most people who meet their heroes, in the end they say, oh, he's just a normal person.
Yep.
He's realizing that they are human also, and like there's nothing special about them. They just went deep into a certain topic, and that's what they're known for in a sense.
And they probably have one persona that they are portraying that is still themselves, but like a more exaggerated version of them when they meet their viewers. In that sense, their fans.
Because the viewer knows them for something, and then they go up to them. They have to, no matter whatever they have gone through in the day, they have to be like, oh, this may be the one time that this fan meets me, so I better put on a good front and like hi, like everything, that sort of thing.
It's like I visualize like if I meet Hamza in Singapore, what kind of person will he be? And is that really him? Or is that all of him?
Mm.
If you really think about it, try to imagine meeting your heroes. They are still human. They have like same thoughts. They have to like use the bathroom.
Yeah, everyone has to take a shit. Like everyone shits in the morning or
Yeah.
afternoon or night. Everyone shits. So that's helps people with like over anxiety about
Knowing that, just you just sit with it lah. Like there's nothing much you can do about that fact, and not like knowing this will suddenly help you to be able to, but like fish out the real people, like the real them. It's impossible because people will naturally come out with these tendencies for survival's sake, lah. Like from last time. Like,
they reflect based on sort of what is presented to them.
Yeah. So knowing that, you just have to
sit on it on the toilet bowl.
Yeah, just sit on it. On the toilet bowl.
Everyone shits. The Queen shits. The Prime Minister, Donald Trump. Okay, that one. Okay.
What?
I mean, we also do that. Everyone does that. That's why everyone. It is in the imperfection that we can really see like that we've established connection and everything.
Yeah, we also don't want to be like in a world that's everyone is perfect. Everything is done perfectly also. And what's the point?
The whole thing about with all the superhero talk back then, superheroes or characters in movies are more one-dimensional. So they have a few traits and then you sort of expect things from them because they are always no matter what, like Superman, he fights like however like dangerous an enemy is, like in the end he's going to win, save the day and everything. And yeah, they are one-dimensional in a sense, but we as people, we are more sort of multi-dimensional, and we are still figuring ourselves out as we go. Superman is dictated by the writers, what they
only want to show what they want to show for to propagate the story they want to tell.
Yeah, it has to be consistent with him as a character.
Yeah. And why every time you wear something Marvel related, you mention Superman?
Huh? Marvel? Oh, I still don't know. I mean, Superman is the easiest sort of example. Henry Cavill, can we interview you? You're hot. Is he not? Fact or cap? Comment down below.
I wouldn't say hot because I'm heterosexual.
Oh, really?
I would say he's good looking.
He's a handsome man.
Handsome man.
I said ham.
Ham. Yeah, but he also has multiple dimensions, and he tried to show a few. And I would say that all that he showed, even the nerdy side, the geeky side of him, helps him in some way or the other. I wouldn't like it's a natural thing to do. Like he's obsessed over the what do you know that what is that called?
PC?
The Space Marine or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
There's a whole world. Someone told me before. Like it's quite a geeky world, but like apparently the lore is insane and there's like a very loyal fan base behind it. It's like bigger than Star Wars, the universe. Bigger than everything. It's quite interesting.
Interesting.
But knowing that he got that side of him, although he looked like an alpha chat.
I mean, he is,
but he still got like that geek, nerdy, more like introverted, shy side that he enjoys. Yeah, that helps with his image also.
I mean, it is all those weird little quirks, the intricacies about you as a person. No one person will have the exact same foundational pillars or interests. Like not everything will be aligned, but what you want to find is just for the core main few, like business and everything, right? Relationships. You want to find long-term people, especially for your partner. And the thing is that you will go through basically an infinite amount of people or an undetermined amount of people until you find the one, in a sense. The one. Then that one, so everything before that is complete failure in a sense. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant because all the lessons you perhaps learn from all that experience is the one that will help you find the one. Whether you actually, I'm personally not dating around like modern dating culture, everything. I think I learned, as a whole, I think I learned better on my own, like as a sort of like, because like romantic relationships, relationships in a sense, is the baseline of that is still connection and friendship and everything. That doesn't mean that you completely like just turn it into a just like boyfriend, girlfriend, that sort of thing. That is sort of dumbing it down to a friendship in a sense. It's less polarity. There's less polarity going on in that. So for me, I see right now it's just all friendship. First of all, like I don't set the intention to. I obviously am looking for a partner, sort of in a sense, but yeah, I'm not very first of all desperate. I've been focusing more on figuring myself out, dealing with my own problems, so that when I get into the relationship, I don't deflect that onto the other person. And yeah, I think I can. There's a lot of people tell me the main advice that I get is, or the main thing people say when they hear about my plans, the way that I talk about this topic as a whole, is that, oh, you're lacking in experience and everything. Like, you need experience, like dating experience, to sort of figure it out.
I mean, of course we need experience, but I think what you said is the responsible thing to do. Just work on yourself, but really work on yourself, not just say that you're working on yourself, like fixing yourself. Like actually do the work, because like it's a bit like therapy. It's work to figure yourself out, to maybe not fix, but like to process certain things in your life, so that you don't next time just unconsciously defect onto someone else or make someone's life a living hell as a result of you just not wanting to face all these, like, I guess, like hidden under the surface kind of things in your past.
And to me, is if I cannot even love you, the person, a friend right in front of me, or my family even, then how will I be able to love someone else? How you treat someone is like reflects how you treat like everyone in a sense, because ultimately you can talk to a room full of 99 people, but everyone is just an individual person. What you're saying, your connection, public speaking, you're connecting to one person to each person, they will interpret it differently. They have their own connection with you. So yeah, I'm trying to fix my even communication, my presence in the now, even with you, even with my family members. The skill of loving as a whole, I think it is transferable. Love is the core of everything, and it will bleed out. And
that's the only thing you can control. Because you were just talking about, like, before going to relationship, expectations, desperation, all this. A lot of it stems from obsessing over things that you can't control. And a lot of people got, like, even me, a lot of point in my life, I struggle with that. Then realize that the only thing is to work on what you can control. Because if you cannot, if you try to force something that you're not, then at the end of the day, you won't really make progress into getting the true one, like you just mentioned.
Love.
It's a skill, but you just need to work at yourself first. And of course, we both cannot make any conclusion about what love really is until we experience our own version of it.
In a sense, it is just whether you... Because no matter what, you have to learn. Getting into a relationship is not the end of the road. You're just starting an infinite game. That is marriage. And marriage is, it is only the beginning. From there, you have to learn so much more. There is so much more to learn. Even more specific things.
So when we talk about this topic, we are not like trying to say this is what real love is. This is like real love supposed to look like this, or this is how you find your real true love or whatever. Like the answers, they are not really good one size fit all answers. Like on the internet or whatever, there can be different ways of looking at it. And if you are like in the Western world with different culture, there are different way of looking at it. If you are like in Southeast Asia with like a more conservative outlook, then there's another set of like advice that I can give. But at the end of the day, you still have to figure out yourself. And the only thing you can control still comes down to trying to improve the skill of love. Like one thing that even till today I struggle with is expressing love, like that skill, saying like I love you to friends. Like even now as I'm using it, I could just say it to him, but I use it in like an example scenario. Like
It is normal for Asian culture as a whole not to.
Even for my parents or whatever, I tried one time or like last year. It felt so uncomfortable. Although like it kind of did help with our relationship with my parents, saying I love you to my dad and my mom, and they say it back. Just by saying it, it helps. But even that, we didn't do it again. But like we kind of know it lah. But it's still a skill to be able to say it, to express.
And it will take time to get used to it, or even have more opportunities to, because you want to do it in like the right setting. But okay, realistically, the right time is always now.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, but
Just a point you can work on in the future, I guess.
Yeah.
Loving in friendships, loving in romantic relationships, loving your family. It starts with you as a person. Your personal. It starts before you even get to picking up girls, pick up artists, everything. All those tactics, different strategies. You want to start from you, your core, your character. From there, it will bleed down to everything else. So that's why we're not going to start teaching you how to go and pick up co-approach girls and everything, right? Yeah.
Just do what your heart tells you to do. If you really want co-approach, just go and try. If you don't want, then make it your natural thing. If your core tell you that you don't need to be working on co-approach, then don't need to care about it. There'll be people that tell you that you need to.
The how can be anything really, like infinite, or where even. Yeah. I always talk about positioning yourself well, properly, even in like searching for relationships. So I was like, I have to sort of, because you are sort of the product that you're selling. They're gonna apply some business talk, but you are the product. You have to market yourself. So your traits, your attributes, your goals, your vision for the future, you have to sort of sell that to people to show that this is the person I am. Convey that.
It's the same as, because I came across this Psych video talking about like you are the hirer, then the female is the one looking for a job. So if it makes sense for them to want to get employed with the benefits that comes with it or whatever, then it'll be a good relationship. But there's also another viewpoint whereby like people just go with the flow. Like you said, there's so many different ways. Some people meet their partner, their wife, through working, or it could be someone like their direct co-workers, or someone they just work in a random project that they spend a bit of time together, then ask them out. There are different ways, but one thing I realized that I did wrong asking for advice, because I get to talk to a lot of different type of people through my national service, like NS men, when they tell me, they just got married, or they just got engaged, they're getting married. I will ask them, how did they meet? I realized that is not the main question. I didn't. There's actually not a good question to ask them. But I kind of just every time ask, how do you meet? Or I ask for advice, like, what should I do? Where do I meet people? All this. But there's no one size fits all. It's really to follow your heart.
Be mindful of anyone who gives you one size fits all advice. Because if there is one size fits all advice, it'll be most of the time very generic, very broad sort of things. Because it'll be like common sense,
or it'll be their projected answer, like they biased opinion in that sense.
This is an idea from 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. What's common sense isn't always common practice. So actually applying like common sense, everyone will rationalize the things that they do. So you cannot just rely on this. So that's why a lot of time people tell you like broader advice, like, okay, let's like focus on loving people, like like how and everything. You want more specific, you want like this specific set of steps, actionable thing. But it's all context dependent based on your context as a whole. It's up to you to sort of figure that out for yourself. And that is the process.
Like even I just said, follow your heart. To different people, the how is very different for everyone. Some people, they have to like intellectually figure that out. Some people really just lean into their feeling, their feminine side, or whatever.
Sometimes it's conscious, sometimes it's unconscious. Really, anything goes.
And at different stages of your life, you also have different epiphany of different ways of doing different things also. So the generic advice works because it's context dependent. like the reason why I never zoom into like a specific thing.
It's taking into account that no one has any idea how anything will go, in a sense. Like anything can happen. That's why I keep talking about like what's the difference between a murderer and just you as a person? What's the difference between a serial killer and you?
I got the intention to kill people, but I never actually do it. Yeah.
There is like Jordan Peterson went on some like trip or he went on this journey where he interviewed a bunch of serial killers, death row inmates, basically trying to figure out why they did the things they do. And all he found was that there is nothing that really separated them from us. Like, any one of us could be a killer. You could get stabbed at any time. You could get run over by a car anytime. We, as people, we are equally as dangerous. Yeah, if anyone hits rock bottom, you never know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
All it takes is one thing to push them over the edge.
What if like the current you're born in another country. Today you might go on the street and murder someone. It could literally just be that, just being born in a different environment. But like you have the same traits or whatever.
All it takes is the one bad day. Everything in the world, Murphy's Law, everything that could possibly go wrong, goes wrong. And then all of a sudden you're like, I'm done, I give up. Then you don't know. That's how everything sort of goes to the worst possible. Yeah.
I guess this is a topic that we are still exploring. And this is a good place to stop this episode, because if not, we'll just keep going deeper and deeper on things that we are exploring as we are talking also. How it links to our life. Yeah. Today's conversation is more of like just exploring what we are doing, how we are doing it, and just, I guess the main takeaway is emphasizing on
relationships, connections,
social love. Like we want to make this into one of the mandatory pillars of our life and not overlook it just for like artificial desires of wanting more money than you need, or I don't know, trying to reach 3% body fat, then you miss out on love, you miss out on friendships. Yeah, really build that into part of your life. Friendships, love, relationship as a system. And also just as you're taking every step, slowly find your way. Don't need to like take one advice as like the main thing also. Because you figure out your partner, like real people around you, it will affect what kind of relationship, the how. Yeah. So don't obsess over one set of philosophy that you've seen somewhere. No matter how how much authority that person have, at the end of the day, you are still you. Yeah. You can try to find the ideal and try to model after, but you have to really ground yourself in reality that the girlfriend or the friend in front of you is a real human. You have to pay attention to that. Personality also. Like no matter what personality they are still them. You have to see them for who they are.
Like there's a whole Harvard 85-year-long study that covers that the key to longevity or whatever isn't like diet, exercise, all those. Like, there are people who legit smoke and everything, just do the worst possible thing, just drink alcohol, everything, and they still live to like 100 plus. It doesn't really matter. What matters, what they found, the number one key to a happy life is social fitness. So it's the quality of your connections in real life. We talk about cortisol, I think in the past few episodes.
Yep.
If your relationships in life are always full of problems, full of sort of butting heads, you are stubborn, the other person's stubborn,
conflicts,
or everyone, that will cause so much cortisol, and that will completely, first of all, you're not going to be happy. Second of all, so it's the quality and probably the quantity of your life as a sort of second or third order consequence. Yeah. Really focus on prioritizing the people in your life. Don't look at them as problems.
Prioritizing leg days, because you need your thighs to be healthy so that you can work on your social fitness.
True. Thick thighs will save your life and make you a happy life. Yes.
And see you guys in the next week's cut. And see you guys in next week's episode.
Happy wife, happy thighs, happy.
Okay, bye.
Because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like a